Okay, guys, so this is the day we've all been waiting for. So if you can notice, I've already done most of the proton pack. So that's right, that's a proton pack right here. All of this was done with cardboard. I went ahead and just did this off cam instead of just boring you guys with just me sitting there doing the time lapse. I went ahead and just did the last few pieces off of cam, so everything's already done. This is a basic shape, and what we're gonna do now is what I promised, where I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to go ahead and cover this entire project in fiberglass. And if you notice, I didn't cover this here, and I left the hole right here because that is going to be covered with something else. It's going to be like with plastic. Right here, there's going to be the dome that goes on there, and I left this hole in here just to if I want to go ahead and make adjustments in the future, like add electronics or lights. I can go ahead and do that. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that this year, but I definitely want to leave these empty, so I can just go ahead and put lights in here, and then with magnets I can just put the top on here and it'll look complete. This is still going to have the dome on top, and that dome is going to be connected with magnets, so I can take it up, take it off, put it back on, if I ever want to adjust the lights or add a speaker. So there's a lot of room in here for a speaker. Get all this space. So I would just go ahead and recommend you guys not top those off yet. Just leave them open for now. And then everything else, since it's a solid object, we're gonna go ahead and just cover that with fiberglass. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're gonna need is you got this Bondo fiberglass resin, and it comes, when you buy it, it comes with the hardener, and so it's two parts. All of this, and then this is a hardener. You're going to need a few droplets of it per ounce. The directions say 10 droplets per ounce. As you can see, I used some of it because 2 years ago I started on this project. But due to complications I couldn't finish it, so I started from scratch, and now we're going to go ahead and do that again. So you're going to need this, you're going to need that. They sew these together. You're going to need a brush. You're going to need some latex gloves, like the one I got on right now, and you're going to need fiberglass cloth. Okay, and I'm going to show you to see what this looks like. So basically all it is, it's a cloth. Okay, it's malleable. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into shapes. And once we have the shapes ready, we're going to go ahead and make a mixture out of this that I'm going to use this much out of. You're going to use small batches. And then we're going to apply it to the proton pack. And over time, it's going to get hard. And it's gonna toughen up, but I'm gonna show you how to do that, because there's one more thing that I need to show you. I mean, I can explain it to you, but you're not gonna get it unless I show it to you. So just gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna get my brush out. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my well, I have one latex glove on. I have the fiberglass ready over here. Brush. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit of this in there. Alright, so I got that open. And now I'm just going to pour a little bit in here. You don't want to do too much. Just an ounce. Or a little bit less than an ounce. I think that's good right there. Okay, and one thing I want to say is that on Sunday, it was hot as hell here where I live. And it is Tuesday now, and it's like 50 degrees. So if it's warmer where you are, the time that it takes for this to cure is going to be a little bit faster. But if you're in an area where it's a little bit colder, it is going to take a little bit longer. Just to let you know. So I have about an ounce in here. I'm going to do the hardener. I'm going to do about 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You don't want to overdo it. And you don't want to underdo it, because if you don't mix it well, it's never going to get hard. So now I'm going to go ahead and harden it. Mix it. And you don't have to be delicate with it either. I mean, you can, it's not like other types of resin where if you do another type of resin, you can't have any bubbles in it. But with this, it doesn't matter. You can just go ahead and mix it really well. Make sure it's really well mixed. And this stuff, it's primarily for wall repair. So if you have a damaged wall or something, that's what this is for. But like I told you in my earlier video, I'm using a concept that I learned at the Aerospace Academy. And at the Aerospace Academy, we used foam and we used carbon fiber. Now with carbon fiber, you have to do it a little bit differently, where you have to have like a plastic bag and apply, you have to vacuum seal it, and you have to apply heat to it, because without heat, that's never going to cure. But in this case, we're using fiberglass, so we don't need to do any of that. We just need to apply it, and we should be good. So that's mixed. Now I'm going to get my fiberglass, and I'm going to start working on this area, the biggest area here. And I think one bag should be enough. I have some spare from when I started this project 2 years ago, so I have about a bag and a half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rough shape of it. That. Oh, and another thing is that fiberglass comes apart really easy. Like if I start pulling on here, it'll just start separating. So just be careful in how you handle it. It's very fibrous, and it just starts to come apart. So I'm going to try to do it as close to the shape of the can, because you don't want any to run off. And the reason I say that is because if you have too much where you have to sand out later, sanding fiberglass is really dangerous. You don't want to be breathing that in. So the more you do now, the less you're going to do later. And like with any project, you have to have a lot of patience. Just be patient. Don't try to do a lot at one step, because you're just going to end up messing up. Try not to go too fast. With something like this, if you go too fast, you're going to end up cutting yourself when you're cutting the cardboard. And yeah, just try to have a lot of patience. So I have the basic shape of it laid out. And make sure with all the fibers that come off, like this one, you don't want to breathe those in. So don't try, don't make a lot of, don't move around a lot, so that way it doesn't spread. Because right now I'm not wearing a mask or anything, so I don't want to breathe that in. Okay, so I have the basic shape. And the reason I do this, the reason I decided to make this project out of cardboard is because one, it's going to be lightweight, and two, it's going to be really easy to cut everything. The only thing, you don't need like power tools or anything like that. If you don't have power tools, this is a awesome way to do stuff, because everything you can just cut everything with scissors or a razor blade. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys was how you do it. So I have the basic shape cut out. Doesn't have to be perfect. And what you're going to do first, see, I'm not gonna go like that. I'm just gonna push them out of the way just a little bit. And what you're going to do first, you're going to get a brush, and you're going to sweep this on there. Now, in the directions it said you have about 8 or 12 minutes to work with this. So you should have most of this ready before you mix it. It's cold right now. It's like 50 below. I'm sorry, it's about 50 degrees. And so it's going to give me a little bit more time. That's why you only want to use small batches. You don't want to mix a whole lot at a time, because you're not going to be able to use it that fast. So you're going to do the first layer like that, apply it to the project. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the fiberglass that we cut, and I'm going to put that on top of there. Oh shit. Okay. I touched it. Okay, so I touched it, but I went to go wash my hands, so I think I'm okay. So you use your gloves to touch it, You don't want to touch directly with your skin because it's kind of like super glue. And you just spread it out. Make sure it's nice and flat, and then with your brush, just pat it down. With your brush, this is going to happen a lot. But with your brush, you add the second coat on top of it like that. See? And you just brush it off. Now, the other thing I want to mention, and I'm about to do that right now, which is why I'm doing the time to take the video, is because how many layers you apply is up to you. But no matter what you do, I would apply more than one layer, at least 2. 3 or 4, that's up to you. But I'm going to apply at least 2, and that's what I want to show you. Don't look at this video then just stop and then say, okay, I got the gist of it. No. I'm going to show you something when you apply a second layer that's really important for you to see. See, so I used almost all of that to apply this. You get fibers like that, just put them away, and you could throw them away later. See, like stuff like this, if you don't put it down now, if you don't tap it down now, it's going to become hard and then you have to cut it off later. So I just want to take care of that now. So it can stick to the project. And another thing is that this thing smells really, really bad. The fumes are pretty overpowering, so make sure you're doing this outside. Okay, so that's the first layer, and in a few hours it's going to be completely rigid and hard. But before it gets there, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and apply the second layer. So I'm going to take this one off. I think it's sticking to my skin and from the inside because I touched it. Let's see. Yeah, my fingertips are a little bit sticky, but not that bad. what I want to tell you guys is when you apply the second layer, let's just pretend I'm going to go ahead and use this. Notice that the cross section, it's going this way and this way. Okay, so when I apply the second layer, instead of applying it the same way I did it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cross it like that. So the first layer was going straight down like this and like this. That's the weave of the fiberglass. So when I apply the second layer, I'm going to cross it like that, so the top layer forms an X on the first layer, and that's where the strength comes from. So you have the resin that's making it hard, but the cross, when you cross it like that, so when this weave crosses this weave, it's not if I do it like that, that's not going to do anything. But if I do it like this, that's going to add strength, and it's going to make your project stronger, and it's going to be more impact resistant. So when you apply a second layer, make sure you cross it, and if you apply a third layer, you cross it again. When you apply a fourth layer, you cross it again, and all those different crosses, each time you apply a layer, it's going to add strength. So let me try to do that again. So that's about an ounce. I'm going to open the hardener. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops. Get my stirrer. Mix it up. And remember, everything you apply this resin to is going to start to harden. So when you're done with your brush, make sure you wash it off. Because if you don't wash it off, it's going to get super hard and you're never going to be able to use it again. That already happened to me. A little bit more. And what I'm going to do now for the second layer is I'm going to go ahead and instead of doing that big patch that I did the first time, I'm going to go ahead and get this. I'm going to cut it straight, but they're going to be strips this time. It's kind of messy working with this stuff because everything sticks, and the fibers of the fiberglass just come apart. It just starts coming apart. And the thing is, carbon fiber does that too, but carbon fiber is a little bit stronger. It's like it's a cloth-like material, carbon fiber, but when you're using it, it feels like plastic, so it doesn't come apart as much as fiberglass. Because of the trouble, or some trouble that I've had working with fiberglass, I was considering using epoxy resin to finish the project, but that would have added some weight. But I mean, you can do whatever. So if I look at the weave, it's going down and across, the same way this one is. So instead of doing it the same way, I'm gonna cross it over. So I'm gonna cross it over, and that's gonna give the body strength and integrity, structural integrity. See, and that's the second layer. So I look at the weave, and I'm gonna just do it over here. And I'm gonna cross it. And just tap it, because the brush has a lot of resin in it. So just press it on there. And try to make sure it all enters the project. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be smooth the first time. We could always smooth it out later when we sand it a little bit. Don't go overboard sanding it. And if you're going to sand it a lot, make sure you're wearing a mask so you don't breathe in the fiberglass. So this one, I'm going to put this one here. So I'm not going to put any resin on that because I need that hole. So I'll just cut it with scissors later. And then I'm going to go this way. Always making an X, making that cross. Yeah, and another thing is that if you sniff this too much, if you're not outside, I'm feeling a little bit, but this will set your lungs on fire because you're breathing it in. So make sure you're outside doing this. Right now it's cold. I'm trying not to breathe, but the first time I did this, I couldn't stand over it because my lungs were on fire practically. Okay, I think I'm gonna go get a fan and I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse all this so that way you can see the progress, because I think the fumes are getting to me just a little bit.